Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slow Learning English. This is Sarah, and today I want to tell you a beautiful story. The story will be about a young man who visits a historical place and learns the story behind it. So sit back, relax, and listen slowly. This is the Bridge of Time. It was a quiet morning in April. The sky was soft blue and the air was fresh after a night of rain. Tom, a young man from a small town, was standing at the bus station. He had a small backpack, a notebook, and a camera in his hand. He loved to travel and learn about history. Tom worked in a shop during the week, but every weekend he went to new places. He liked to see old buildings, museums, and historical towns. He believed that history helped people understand who they are. Without history, we are lost, he often said to his friends. This weekend, Tom wanted to visit Old River Bridge, a famous place in his country. He read that it was built more than 400 years ago. It was said that this bridge connected two kingdoms and changed history. Tom wanted to see it with his own eyes. The bus trip took 2 hours. Tom sat by the window and watched green hills and small villages pass by. He saw farmers working in their fields, children walking to school, and old people sitting outside their homes. He felt calm and happy. Next to him sat an old woman. She smiled and asked, "Are you going to the bridge?" "Yes," said Tom. "I want to learn its history." The woman nodded. "Ah, the bridge. Many stories live there. Some true, some not." Tom laughed. "Maybe you can tell me one?" The woman smiled again. "Better you hear it from the guide at the bridge. He knows everything." When the bus stopped, Tom thanked the woman and got off. He looked around. The village was small with narrow streets and stone houses. There was a river running through the middle, and at the far end, he saw the old bridge. It looked strong and beautiful. Tom walked toward the bridge. It was made of gray stone with 5 large arches. The water under it was clear and calm. He touched the stone wall. It felt cool. A sign near the bridge said Old River Bridge, built in 1609. This bridge connected the North and South kingdoms after years of war. It became a symbol of peace and trade. Many travelers crossed this bridge to start a new life. Tom read it carefully. He tried to imagine what it looked like 400 years ago. Horses, soldiers, and merchants crossing it. He took some photos and wrote in his notebook, "Bridges are not only for walking, they connect hearts and histories." A man in a brown hat came closer. He was holding a bunch of papers. "Are you visiting the bridge, young man?" he asked. "Yes, I am," said Tom. "I'm the guide here," said the man. "My name is Mr. Kareem. Would you like to hear the story of this bridge?" "Yes, please," said Tom with excitement. Mr. Kareem led Tom to a bench near the river. He began to speak slowly, like a storyteller. 400 years ago, this land was divided into 2 kingdoms, the Northland and Southland. They were rich in culture, but poor in peace. They fought many wars over land and gold. The river between them was the border. No one dared to cross it. Tom listened carefully. One day, Mr. Kareem continued, a young engineer named Amir came from the north. He dreamed of building a bridge that would connect the 2 lands. People laughed at him. They said, "Why build a bridge to your enemy?" But Amir said, "Because peace needs a path." Tom smiled. "That's a powerful sentence." Mr. Kareem nodded. Yes, Amir worked for 10 years. He used stones from both sides of the river. People from Northland and Southland helped him together. Slowly, they stopped fighting. They talked, worked, and shared food. When the bridge was finished, the 2 kings walked across it and made peace. "That's amazing," said Tom softly. Mr. Kareem smiled. "Yes, that's why this bridge is special. It's a lesson from the past." Tom walked across the bridge slowly. He looked down at the river and thought about Amir, the engineer. He imagined the people who worked together to build this strong path. He could almost hear their voices in the wind. At the middle of the bridge, he saw a small stone plaque. It said, "This bridge was built with hands of hope and hearts of peace." Tom stood there for a while. He felt something deep inside him, respect, maybe even love for the people who believed in unity. He took out his notebook and wrote, "History is not just about kings and wars. It's about people who build peace when others break it." Next to the bridge was a small museum. Tom decided to go in. Inside, there were old maps, tools, letters, and paintings. One picture showed Amir standing with workers beside the half-finished bridge. Everyone was smiling. A museum guide explained, "These workers came from both kingdoms. They didn't speak the same language, but they worked with the same goal." Tom found that beautiful. It reminded him of today's world where people from different countries work together. He saw an old letter written by Amir. "If people can build one bridge, they can build 1,000 more, not only across rivers, but across hearts." Tom whispered, "That's so true." But when Tom came out of the museum, Mr. Kareem was waiting. "Did you like it?" he asked. "Yes, very much. I learned more than I expected." Mr. Kareem smiled. "Good. History is a teacher, but it speaks only to those who listen." They sat together by the river again. Mr. Kareem told Tom about his grandfather, who used to repair the bridge after storms. He said, "My grandfather said that stones remember. Every time he fixed a broken part, he said sorry to the bridge. He believed it had a soul." Tom laughed softly. That's beautiful." They talked for a long time about how people forget history and make the same mistakes again. Mr. Kareem said, "That's why we must tell these stories again and again." Before leaving, Tom wanted to see the bottom of the bridge. There was a small path under it. He walked there and found something surprising, like a half-open wooden door built into the wall. He looked around and then carefully pushed it open. Inside was a small tunnel. It was dark, but a little light came through cracks in the wall. He stepped inside and found a sign that said, "This tunnel was used during the War of 1802 to protect children and books." Tom was amazed. He imagined families hiding here during the war, trying to keep their culture alive. He thought, even in war, people protect knowledge. That's how history survives. And he took some photos and left quietly. He felt grateful that he lived in a time of peace. It was afternoon now. The sun was warm and the river shone like silver. Tom sat under a tree and opened his notebook again. He wrote, "The old river bridge is more than stone. It is a story of peace, work, and hope. People built it to end war. They used their hands to create something strong and good. We must remember them and build new bridges in our own lives between people, ideas, and nations." He closed his notebook and smiled. He felt proud, like he had touched history with his heart. Before leaving, Tom went to a small cafe near the bus stop. The old woman from the morning bus was there again. She waved and said, "So, young traveler, did you find your story?" Tom smiled. "Yes, and I think I found a part of myself too." They talked for a while. The woman told him that her family had lived near the bridge for many generations. Her great-grandfather was one of the workers who helped build it. She said softly, "When you walk across that bridge, you walk with many souls." Tom nodded. "I will never forget that." The bus moved slowly through the hills again. Tom looked out of the window and saw the bridge getting smaller and smaller, but in his heart it stayed big. He thought about how one person, just one like Amir, could change history. He realized that history is not something far away. It lives in the choices we make every day. He whispered to himself, "Maybe I can build my own bridge too, not of stone, but of kindness and understanding." He smiled and watched the sunset. A week later, Tom wrote an article about his trip. He sent it to a small local magazine. He called it The Bridge That Built Peace. In the article, he wrote simple words. We all come from different places, but we all want peace, work, and love. The bridge teaches us that when people build together, they become one. The magazine published it and many people liked it. Some wrote letters saying they wanted to visit the bridge too. Tom was happy. He felt that Amir's dream was still alive in every person who believed in unity. A year later, Tom went back to the village. He found Mr. Kareem again. "Ah, my young friend," said the old guide. "You came back." Tom smiled. "I wanted to thank you. Your stories changed how I see the world." They walked to the bridge together. It looked the same, strong, quiet, and peaceful. Birds were flying above it, and people were taking photos. Mr. Kareem said, "Bridges never stop working. Even when no one walks on them, they still connect two sides." Tom nodded. "Like people, we can connect hearts even when we're far apart." Before leaving again, Tom opened his notebook for the last time. He wrote, "History is alive. It lives in bridges, in people, and in stories. We must listen, learn, and share. Because when we forget history, we lose our way. And when we remember, we find peace again." He tore the page carefully and gave it to Mr. Kareem. "Please keep this in the museum," he said. Mr. Kareem looked touched. "I will. People must read this. It's part of the bridge now." Tom smiled, took one last photo, and walked toward the bus. The sound of the river followed him, calm and endless, like time itself. Thank you for listening to my story today, The Bridge of Time. I hope you enjoyed it and learned some new words. You can listen again slowly to practice your English. Remember, learning English takes time, but you can do it. This is Sarah from Slow Learning English. I'll see you again very soon with another story. Goodbye and have a beautiful day.